Stress management. This section deals with one of the most important subjects of the present era. The society today is under stress, and management experts, organizational behavior theorists, and even psychologists are all worrying how to control this menace. Before we talk about stress management, we'll first try to find out what exactly is the stress. It is an individual's adaptive response to a situation that is perceived as challenging or threatening to a person's well-being. It can also be said a dynamic condition in which an individual is confronted with an opportunity, demand, or resource related to what the individual desires and for which the outcome is perceived to be both uncertain and important. The first popular theory on stress management was given by Hans Selye, who developed the general adaptation syndrome. The stress experience was first documented by him in 1936. He opined that people have a fairly consistent physiological response to stressful situation. This response he called the general adaptation syndrome. Every stress leaves an indelible scar, and the organism pays for its survival after a stressful situation by becoming a little older. The general adaptation syndrome talks of three phases: the alarm reaction, that is the phase 1, the stage of resistance is the second phase, and the stage of exhaustion is the third phase. The first stage, which is the alarm reaction, talks about any physical or mental trauma which triggers an immediate set of reactions that combat the stress. Because the immune system is initially depressed, normal levels of resistance are lowered, making us more susceptible to infection and disease. If the stress is not severe or long lasting, we bounce back and recover rapidly. In the stage 2, which is the resistance phase, sometimes rather quickly it comes to the individual, and in this stage we adapt to stress, and there is actually a tendency to become more resistant to illness and disease. Our immune system works overtime for us during this period, trying to keep up with the demands placed upon it. We become complacent about our situation and assume that we can resist the effects of stress indefinitely. Therein lies the danger. Believing that we are immune from the effects of stress, we typically fail to do anything about it. The third stage, which is the exhaustion, talks about a further extension of this phase. Because our body is not able to maintain homeostasis and the long-term resistance needed to combat stress, we invariably develop a sudden drop in our resistance level. No one experiences exactly the same resistance and tolerance to stress, but everyone's immunity at some point collapses following prolonged stress reactions. Life-sustaining mechanisms slow down and sputter. Organ systems begin to break down, and stress-fighting reserves finally succumb to what Hans Selye called disease of adaptation.